and welcome to the WrestleTalk podcast here every Tuesday and Friday. I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by Luke Owen, DAD. If you haven't already, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts from. That could be on YouTube. That could be on Spotify. That could be on Apple Podcasts or exciting news. Not the Tesseract. That's right.
Again, are you going to reference a podcast that we haven't even finished recording yet, but also isn't out for another 2 weeks?
Oh, Ollie, you got to start promoting the videos in advance, and then I try and do it, and then I'm told no, you've got to finish the record first.
As long as you tie it into the promotion, I'm all for it. There was every chance that you were just going to talk about your confusion over the Tesseract and whatever it is in the first Thor movie.
That's not what I was going to do. But now you've brought it up, the Casket of Winters is very different. The Casket of Ancient Winters, sorry, I don't know how many Winters caskets there are in Asgard.
It's a mistake a lot of people make.
Yeah, okay, there are 2 blue cubes in the MCU, particularly Phase 1. There is the blue cube that gives the Frost Giants all their power.
Yeah, which in the record of an episode that's going to be coming out in 2 weeks' time, you thought was the Tesseract.
I derailed about 20 minutes of our Thor Dark World review podcast because I got confused between the blue cubes.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's my fault.
No, I would agree with you.
So you've got the Casket of Ancient Winters. That's what we're sponsoring. If you find the Casket of Ancient Winters, the way you can tell that it's not the Tesseract, which will become an Infinity Stone, is because if you look inside, there is a QR code that takes you to this very podcast.
Very good.
And that's coming out on Cutscene in 2 weeks' time.
On the 18th of February.
But this episode will deal with AEW Dynamite.
Yes, but we're going to kick things off.
There's another thing to tease.
Oh.
I've got a game.
So since you've got back, you've been teasing me about this idea you've got a game.
Don't hype it that much.
Well, you've been hyping it to me, though.
No, I've just
You've
been
brought
saying.
it up in every conversation that we have had leading up to this record.
I've just said, look, there's...
Don't look at the document. My game is there, is what you said to me this morning.
There are many news stories that I missed over the Vietnam break. I'm back, by the way. Hello, welcome. This is my favourite show to do. So this is like, now I feel like I'm back.
Yeah.
And it's because I get to play the game. And there seemed to be a lot of controversies, little stories, but there was one that really, really tickled me.
Yeah.
And I've adapted it into a game that hopefully can become a recurring segment.
Excellent.
Hopefully can become signs that people have specifically on AEW. But it would work on WWE as well.
Okay, yeah. Interesting.
Okay.
Did you see, actually, on the first episode of Impact, TNA Impact, someone had a sign that says, Triple H fears Ollie Davis?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's a thing. It's the wrong show. That's the show to do Carlos Carlos in the cup chair.
Cup chair Carlos.
Speaking of first episodes,
Triple C.
The Muppets began last night.
Yeah, with Sabrina Carpenter as the special guest.
Yes.
Is it a series or just a one-off?
I believe it's a series.
This is the Seth Rogen produced.
Yeah, I watched it. I didn't know it was a thing. I guess our tease set up for the thoughts. We won't get into that now because we are starting the podcast with the hottest thing in wrestling right now. That's in WWE, I guess.
Yeah, the only thing that's happening in WWE at the moment.
Yeah, that's a good point. AEW Dynamite was extraordinary.
It was such a good show this week.
I said to Luke when I got back, because usually when we have a break from watching wrestling and we come back, the first thing we watch, we're just like, oh, I love wrestling. Mm-hmm. But I watched the Royal Rumble and then Raw. I was like, oh, it's a bit mid, isn't it?
Yeah.
So thank God for AEW Dynamite. I watched this and I was like, I do love wrestling. I just love good wrestling. But yeah, the CM Punk versus Roman Reigns angle, which was the main event of this week's Raw, that set up our first proper main event of WrestleMania 42, which will be CM Punk defending his World Heavyweight Championship against the Royal Rumble winner, Roman Reigns.
Yes, and further promotion for upcoming videos. This Saturday, you and I are going to be predicting the rest of the WrestleMania 42 card.
We are promotion heavy right now. Yeah. But the great thing was this promo was just so far
awesome
away from the quality of the rest of the show. It was a genuinely great segment.
Yeah.
Best of the year?
Certainly best promo segment on Raw of the year, yeah.
Best Raw segment of the year?
Best Raw segment of the year.
SmackDown has had its...
So SmackDown had the Cody Jacob sit-down interview, which was really good. But I think this was better than
the title change, Drew.
I'm just about like promo segments or like segments that are like not matches.
Yeah,
because I guess that's a title change. I think those are the top two at the moment. I think this one does just beat out the Cody Jacob one.
It's exactly what WWE needed to actually kick off the road to WrestleMania because the Rumble didn't feel like the road to WrestleMania. But in it, they like going in. This was a rumored match or a reported match back in October when Seth got injured and Punk won the World Heavyweight title. The direction was Punk versus Roman. And at the time we were like, well, there's some baked in things. They've got the Heyman side. They've got the triple threat that they had at Mania 41.
Yeah.
But then they tagged together at War Games. Didn't have an angle to further that.
No, they shook hands. And very much it was setting up Cody versus Roman. That was my thing coming out of the Royal Rumble. I was like, we need to find a way to effectively retcon that so that we can build this into a story.
And they did it in a brilliant way.
Where
Roman just said, you brainwash people, you brainwashed me.
Yep.
Which is, why he shook his hand.
I've got the whole quote if you want it.
Well, yeah, because then if you could also go into the sort of meat which is when wrestling touches real life.
Yeah.
And often that is when wrestling becomes its best.
He said, I will never forget 10 years ago or so, you went on your little best friend's podcast, running your mouth, making my life harder than it ever should have been. And then I let you back here, and what did you do? You screw me. You take my wise man, you try and brainwash my cousin, you almost brainwashed me. Because at War Games, I shook your hand like a man. What did we say? Zebros or some S like that? And what did you do?
No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that line. There was no mention to Zebros.
I'll fix it. You mock me behind my back as I'm walking up the ramp like I'm some sort of young boy. So what Ollie Davis is referring to then is, oddly, if you now go and watch this promo on Netflix, that Zebros line is cut out of it. And it's a really mad, awkward cut as well. Like, they have not done a good job of editing it. And I guess it's because of the swear, but Netflix have left swears in before. So is it because they mentioned Zootropia? Zootropia? What's it called?
Zootopia. It was Zootropolis over here.
Yeah, too. And they don't want to advertise movies on a competing streaming platform? I don't know. I don't think it was a WWE call. I might text Sean and ask him.
Yeah, we need to know. This is the most important story. So what was Reigns referring to? This 10 years ago, you went on your buddy's podcast and you made my life so difficult. And that is the crux of not just Roman and Punk's difficulties in real life. It's the crux of Punk and the Shield. Seth Rollins, Jon Moxley, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns, since Punk left in 2014, particularly post-podcast in late 2014, they have been vocal about not liking Punk, which is a big change because Punk is responsible for creating the Shield.
Yeah. If I remember rightly on that podcast, they talked about giving him some heaters while he was a heel. I think Kane was like one of the people that they were pitching. But he suggested bringing up 3 guys from NXT. And those 3 names were Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Chris Hero.
Yeah.
And that was the idea. And then that was changed to, well, we actually really like this Roman Reigns guy. We want to push him. So can we place Chris Hero? And realistically, actually, when you look back at the Shield, and we've covered the Shield on WrestleTalk Extra, I think it was the right call to have. The Shield worked really well as a unit anyway. I think with Chris Hero, it would have been a different vibe.
WWE would have never pushed them properly because Roman was always the guy they wanted. I've got the exact thing.
The Shield was basically a project to get Roman over.
Here is so remember, Punk, Seth, Roman, Dean at that time. Punk has been working with them. They have been traveling with Punk. Like to them, he is sort of their mentor. And he leaves, and a couple of months later they break up. Go and watch our breakup of the Shield series over on patreon.com/WrestleTalk for that like full bonkers period. And then Punk goes on a podcast, Colt Cabana's Art of Wrestling podcast, at the end of 2014, and he says verbatim, "The Shield was my idea." And then WWE were like, let's do it. but we don't want Chris Hero, who was Cassius Ohno at the time. This is a quote of Punk. They wanted Roman Reigns. They came to me and they were like, what about Roman? It wasn't my hill to die on. I said, sure, because it made sense to me.
Yeah.
So this is a lot of Punk's comments on the Art of Wrestling podcast are directed at WWE. They're critical of WWE.
Very much so.
And Ryback.
Well, it is because he's a dumb F.
What is it? I guess I'm dumb as fuck.
What a day that was when that podcast dropped.
And the second one.
Yeah. No one talks about but it's funny enough, actually, because the Roman comment in the second one, I think, the whole, like, make Roman look strong, that's in the follow-up episode, I think.
Yeah, so he has that, and just like Seth has corroborated this. This is Seth on the 2019 episode of Edge and Christian's Pod of Awesomeness. Punk was looking to help turn the main roster around, so he wanted to get us in there. Us being myself, Ambrose, and I think maybe Cassius Ohno, but I'm not sure. But the company loved Roman from the get-go, and for all the right reasons.
Yeah,
now,
it was not Triple H's idea.
No,
as he would like to have you believe.
Yeah, even like the Roman part, that was clearly a Vince call.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
Roman wasn't Roman wasn't a Triple H guy. So you've got, that's one bit. So you've got one bit all of a sudden where Punk, and this is one of the problems with Punk, because he does just shoot like that, there are civilian casualties.
Yeah.
So even though he's directing this at WWE management are bad, WWE don't listen to my ideas, Roman and his best buddies Seth and Dean here, our former mentor has just like really put it out there as I'm trying to get over on my own as a babyface that I wasn't the original choice.
Yeah. And then on the follow-up to that was the handicap match.
Yeah, so this is the Punk comments on TLC 2013. So again, this is on the Art of Wrestling podcast. Punk was booked in a 3-on-1 handicap match against The Shield, which he was booked to win.
Mm-hmm. Very silly.
Ridiculous. And Punk even said as much. He was like, look, if you want to keep these guys strong, there's 3 of them. Just have them beat me. But the plan was, for whatever reason, Punk would win. And this is the quote. Every 2 minutes, someone new was coming up to me. Hey, you got to make Roman look really strong. So I got so sick of Michael Hayes and everybody else coming up to me, people who aren't involved in the match, going, hey, you're making him look really strong, right? And finally I said, you know what? You know what would make them really strong? If they beat me. Because 3 guys can't beat 1 guy? That's effing dumb. But no. Vince wants you to go over. Okay. But you got to make him look... God damn it! I effing get it! I know how to do the job. Shut that F up. So that's the direct verbatim quote of Punk. And that sort of took on a life of its own of, you got to make Roman look strong.
It followed him for years.
And look, Roman is a casualty here. Roman shouldn't really be angry at Punk. Roman should be angry at WWE's awful creative push of him as a one-dimensional babyface from 2014 through to 2019.
I think, in fairness to Roman, I can see why that anger would be directed at Punk. This is a guy who left, walked out of the company, then went on a podcast that buried that company, but really did. I think wrestling fans took what he said the wrong way. And there was already this resentment towards Roman's push that these comments only amplified that resentment. I think you even said it on the Raw podcast when we were talking about this, and I completely agree with you. I think that the boos that Roman was getting were really, really amplified. Because what happens a couple of months after this podcast drops? Roman wins the Royal Rumble. And when he is booed out of the building and The Rock comes out and The Rock gets booed and The Rock's got that weird look at his face being like, oh, what is going on here? Why are we all booing my cousin over here? I can see why Roman Reigns, the person, would take issue with Punk's comments about him and not sort of look at the bigger picture of like what Punk was saying is that creative was bad.
Yeah, because, I mean, there's an argument that Roman can't be angry with WWE, really, so it's sort of misdirected anger, but at the same time, hey, we're the boys. And no matter, like you said, your truth or whatever, but it has consequences. And one of those consequences is you've just given a ton of ammo for all the smart fans who don't like me already to just come at me even harder.
And you know what WWE are very good at doing?
Yeah.
Brainwashing.
No, that's Punk. That's Punk. He's the manipulative one.
They're very good
Yeah.
at telling their wrestlers, you know who the real enemy is? It's that guy over there.
So that's 2014. And, you know, for most of the next 5 years, Punk goes and does his thing. He does the MMA stuff. The Shield...
Successfully so.
The Shield go on to have, you know, really amazing success in their careers. But then Punk starts to come back. And I'm not talking about coming back to wrestling with AEW. Remember that time he made his big WWE return?
Yep.
On Fox?
I sure do. He changed the culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
It hasn't been the same since.
So this was 2019. This was a backstage sort of behind the scenes show that wanted to be a work shoot, but then just became a work, and it was just pointless programming. Yeah. But that was Fox brought CM Punk as part of that big Fox 2019 deal for SmackDown. It was going to be accompanied with WWE Backstage, the studio show. There's
a shot from that show, and it's when Punk is like addressing the camera, being like, "Every time you think you've got the answer, I change the culture." It's like a play on the Roddy Piper quote, and it's Punk, and in the background is Renee, Adam Cole, Samoa Joe, and Saraya. And at one point, I was like, "They're all in AEW now."
It's a long game. So that's Punk's rather, you know, shill-like way of... He wanted to go to WWE. Like he said. He said he was going to go to WWE if they offered him enough money, and Vince ultimately put the block on it.
Okay.
Which is why Fox brought him in to this. Yeah. And this was sort of the agreement they made, because Fox were like, we need a star. But in 2019, I don't know if you remember this as well, Seth was mad.
Yeah. Seth was... He had a bad 2019. Because you want to talk about fan resentment... Fans turned against Seth Rollins is not cool.
So, you know, there's the infamous 2019 Hell in a Cell Bray Wyatt thing. But even before then, Seth's Twitter game...
Oh, it was awful.
It was comparing bank balances with Will Ospreay.
It's because, like, Seth is a company guy. He bleeds WWE. And 2019 was a dreadful year creatively for the company. And so Seth's response to that was to go into defense mode and talk about how great of a company WWE is.
Yeah.
They've got the best wrestling on the planet. And bear in mind, this is in 2019, when you've just come off the back of All In the year previously. There's all this startup of AEW. New Japan's killing it as well. So he's there being like, they just sold out Madison Square Garden with Ring of Honor. So it says like, no. We've got the best wrestlers on the planet. We've got the best wrestling. We just had Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch headline a pay-per-view. We're where the wrestling's at. And everyone's like, no, it's not. It's actually quite bad. He's like, well, tell that to my bank balance then. Yeah. And there's a reason why fans turned against him. He came across like a knob.
And in this, you know, because you sort of work yourself into a shoot, I imagine, you know, it's all engagement. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. So he went down that Twitter path.
90 million social media followers.
And he chose Punk as one of his targets, along with Will Ospreay. He started calling Punk out on Twitter once Punk had made his return to a match. Not a match. He was like, let's have a real fight. You know, like, well, I guess he's trying to build a match. Like, fair enough. And Punk replied to it on WWE Backstage. This isn't the show where you shoot your angles. Seth needs to stop tweeting and realize that sometimes it's better to be viewed as the fool and shut your mouth, or open your mouth and remove all doubt. You're not doing yourself any favors. Go search for relevancy somewhere else, Seth. And Seth just replied, hell of a response, coward. So a bit of a retreat there. So it's just like, okay, there's a bit of prickliness there. But again, it felt like maybe they were building to maybe it was all a work.
Maybe.
But then in February 2023, so Punk's back in AEW by this point, but he has had the whole brawl out thing.
Yeah. I mean, just to skip ahead his AEW run, a lot of his AEW run is taking shots at WWE.
Yeah.
And the whole, like, why don't you go main event night one of a buy one, get one free extravaganza? Like, he, you know, burying the idea of 2-night WrestleManias, burying the idea that main eventing night one is not actually a main event, burying the fact that the company was doing buy one, get one free tickets at that time because they were a cold product. His first promo back is like, I left pro wrestling because that company killed my love of pro wrestling. It's funny, that's actually what Ricochet's been talking about recently as well. And I'm now back in pro wrestling. This is actually where wrestling matters. So if you are a guy like a Seth, who is very protective of WWE and protective of the wrestling they do, you are going to take some heat with that.
I don't know why Seth said in February 2023 that Punk's a cancer.
He's a cancer.
He's a cancer.
Yeah.
Later that year, Punk would come into WWE. But, I mean, obviously, either Rollins is just saying that because he just doesn't like Punk and he's like, I'm just going to say it now.
He was a heel character at that point as well.
Yeah, I feel if you watch it back, so it's funny enough with Nick Hausman, the interview.
It's always Nick Hausman,
who is the guy that Punk uses as the launch pad for the Brawl Out promo. Look, Moxley's a very private guy.
Just ask Steve Austin on that podcast.
Yeah.
Sandbags every question he asks him.
I get the sense that Moxley, Rollins, and Roman are very close.
Yeah. And
even though they're in AEW and WWE, they are friends and they chat.
Yeah, a lot of wrestlers are. There are a lot of wrestlers within AEW and WWE that are friends.
They are eternally bonded, those three guys.
And like there is just, while we have a wrestling war between companies, the wrestlers themselves are not at a wrestling war with each other. They are mostly mates.
Yeah, and the Punk Brawl Out stuff was against Omega, Page, and whatever. But he was working with Moxley going into that night.
Yeah, but he was also burying some of that angle. Do you remember? I've never even seen Rocky 3.
Yeah. And Moxley is sort of the heart of AEW in a way, definitely at that time. And yeah, I feel like Rollins is hearing like they chatting to Moxley. He's like, he's a cancer.
Yeah.
CM Punk's a cancer. He then explained further, more in depth to Fox Sports Radio the week after he said cancer. I'll end it on a positive note with him, that's being CM Punk. That guy has given my career so much that it pains me to have to say bad things about him because he helped me out. He really did. He's been a good guy to me for a lot of my career, but for whatever reason, the past maybe 6 or 7 years, he's been in a different headspace and we're not on the same page. To see what he's done and taken and taken and taken, and it's always been about him, I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan. There's a place for him, man. He's got a lot to give. I just wish his head was in the right spot.
I think that is very much from the heart. You think about this time space that we're in here. This is Collision Punk now.
Yeah.
This is post-Brawl Out Punk. This is, we've given you your own show. And we have separated a lot of the other bad actors within AEW into their own roster. And then Punk's very protective of that locker room, not allowing Christopher Daniels into the locker room because he's seen as too connected to the elite. And kind of controlling the show, banning people from going to those shows because that was his AEW. He wanted that roster split. I want to be with my own guys.
It was such a toxic situation that a couple of months after that, Jon Moxley, one of the most private, I do not do tweets, I don't do social media, I don't do podcasts largely. He goes on his wife's podcast and he just totally shoots on Punk. He says, it's effing annoying. Just because somebody said some stupid S on social media, that's not news. But it is, and it's become a thing. I don't want to get dragged into this dumb S. I could effing unload on a lot of effing people right now. When I start getting dragged into this S, it tempts me to do that, but I'm not going to effing sink to that level. I don't want any negative bull S. I will say this, and I hate to say it because I don't think I've ever said anything even remotely negative about AEW, but I will say this. As an observer, I spent 8 years on the indies, a couple of years in WWE developmental, 8 years in WWE. I have never seen so much bull-S drama in one place in my entire effing life.
I mean, it was bad.
I mean, it's quite nice that we're going to be reviewing Dynamite shortly.
Yeah.
3 years later, and just look how great and positive that place is now.
It really Brawl. We've said this before. Brawl Out is a moment that is a turning point for that company. That was a company where everyone was all on the same page. Everyone was all singing from the same hymn sheet. That happens. There is a 2-year period where that company struggles. It struggles not just with backstage like that. There's all those are backstage drama. Andrade getting into fights, Sammy Guevara getting into fights, like Aleister Black and all this sort of like. There was just nothing but drama every single week, and it really did actually kill a lot of fans' interest in the promotion, because the whole thing of AEW was it's not going to be like WWE, and then after a while it just felt like it was just WWE all over again. It's the same level of nonsense and drama, and it turned a lot of fans off.
So there were always rumors in these sort of 10 years since Punk left WWE and made the disparaging sort of friendly fire Roman comments that the Shield don't like Punk. And then in 2019, there's that scuffle with Seth and Punk. But then it's 2023 with all Punk's problems in AEW and Seth calling him a cancer and Jon Moxley coming out and saying, not saying him by name, but we know who the cause of a lot of that stuff was. And then Punk goes back to WWE. And this is Fightful. From the time, so October 2023, there is a very big elephant in the room that both Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns have verbalized in the past that they aren't fond of Punk. Most people on both sides believe there would need to be fences mended there in order to make a successful return happen. Actually, Roman had said 2 years earlier in 2021, it's an interview with Complex, because, that was pre-Punk returning to AEW or debuting. So every question, would you like to face Punk? On a personal level, it doesn't do anything for me. That's not going to elevate me at all. He's older now. I haven't really seen a full match. I've seen a clip or two, and to me, a step or two has been lost. Also, Punk was in AEW at this point.
Oh, yeah, it was, yeah.
Then also, he got his ass whooped in the UFC. I don't think anybody really believes that someone 200 pounds soaking wet with no explosive bone in their body could ever really do anything to me.
Now, I will, for the benefit of Billy Balance, that's Tribal Chief Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
I think the second half of that does feel like it's work. That's character stuff there of like, he could never touch me. I'm the Tribal Chief. Like, I'm the reason why I'm the head of the table.
Well, to that point later on in that same interview, if our audience wanted to see me versus Punk and they were clamoring for it, couldn't shut up about it, and all the stars aligned as a businessman and as a performer who was trying to seek out the very best for the audience and try to captivate, I wouldn't say no.
This is what I think Roman's very good at. And we saw it in that Raw promo. He's very good at mixing the work and shoot together. Yeah. Kenny Omega's very good at this as well. Sean Ross Sapp has always put over how Kenny can very effortlessly weave between, when you're doing an interview with him, doing work stuff about character, but also giving you shoot stuff about him as a person.
Yeah.
So you never really quite know where the line is. And I think Roman is just as good at doing that. And Roman says in that Raw promo, when you were going to come back, who did they come to? They came to me to ask what I thought about you coming back. I've
never heard that in a report, but I don't not believe it.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I completely buy that as a situation. He is a top guy in the company. He's a guy that's got a lot of political sway within that company. We had that comments about him late last year. He's like the most political figure within WWE since Hollywood Hogan. But I've said on this podcast now, so it's worth repeating here as well. I think we're looking at a very different CM Punk now to the one that first walked out in 2014. Yeah. And the one that returned to AEW in 2021. I think we are looking at I think the experience of AEW and the backstage drama that he went through, in a way, the unprofessionalism of Hangman Page in that promo segment where he he switched and be like, I'm here to protect AEW from you, which we said at the time was a weird thing to say. And then all the brawl out or brawl in and all this sort of stuff. I think that Punk has gone to WWE a very changed man, which is why he's been able to mend fences with Triple H, mend fences with Seth Rollins, mend fences with The Miz, mend fences with Roman Reigns. I don't think it's just a political play by Punk. I think it was growing up and maturing and realizing, I thought I felt this way about this company, but a lot has changed over the last 14 years.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing about the Shield,
10 years,
that they don't get to where because Punk is changing, but at the same time, the Shield do not get to where they've gotten to at the top of all their companies by not being professionals. And they've all said, like, Moxley worked with him. Seth was seemingly trying to work with him in 2019 for the business of a match. And who's the first guy that's really going to wrestle him? It's Seth Rollins. That becomes a Drew McIntyre feud, but Seth was the first planned thing for Punk coming back in. And this is just an interesting Wrestling Observer line from Punk's return in 2023. The obvious ultimate destination is Reigns versus Punk. But the plan is to take a lot of time before getting there.
Yeah. I mean, which is smart in a way. We talk about on this podcast of not waiting too long to do those programs because so many things can happen. They waited too long to do Punk versus Omega because they thought they had time, and then things happened and they couldn't get to that match. There was every chance, like, we'll get to Punk versus Roman, but then things could have happened and you never get to that match. They thought they had time to do Austin and Goldberg.
Yeah.
And they never got to that match.
Those are things that, of course, fell apart due to sort of personnel, contract reasons. But the actual main worry at that time, here's the quote, one major star who saw the situation said they'd better get there within 6 months because of the injury risk with Punk. This is a guy coming into the company who has spent like 9 of the last 12 months with separate injuries, and he gets injured pretty fast.
I was going to say
the Drew feud.
Gets hurt. Yeah, he got hurt in AEW when he wins the title. Comes back, gets hurt again, and then he gets hurt in almost immediately. His first match in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
in WWE.
Yeah, that's when it was.
He gets hurt again. So there was this sort of thankfully he hasn't been hurt since, but there was very much this. I guess Punk can't go, glass man Punk can't go that long without getting himself injured.
So I think WWE, for all their sort of lack of momentum right now, they have been very fortuitous that these stars have aligned, which is these two guys have a legit history of not liking each other because of a very real line and thing that happened in 2014. They have both matured since, so they are now able to use that as fuel for a match and just Roman's general professionalism in regards to the business.
I think it is a level of maturity and a level of just getting the business and knowing that's the money match to do. Put aside personal differences and just focus on the fact that we can make a ton of money if we do this match.
Next Saturday, you're going to want to go over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk, but actually maybe just do it right now as well. Just go and sign up right now, because next Saturday, we have episodes 3 and 4 of our Invasion series.
That's right. Last month, we started our 25 years since the fall of WCW, the fall of ECW, and the fall of the Invasion, actually. We started that last month looking at the final Nitro and the Raw simulcast and King of the Ring 2001. This month, we're jumping ahead just 1 week later after King of the Ring. A lot has changed in the WWF buying WCW landscape and what they plan to do, and they've got a really good plan in place. And then they did a Raw episode in Tacoma, Washington, and everything fell apart.
The Tacoma bomb.
It really is. Tacoma, Washington kills WCW dead in the water. We're going to review that show, talk about why it fell apart, talk about a lot of the backstage happenings that were leading to WCW falling apart, some egos getting involved, and over on Patreon, we're going to be looking at the following week's Raw, where the entire storyline changed. All WCW plans are scrapped. We've now picked up the ashes of ECW and we're scattering it over this storyline as we try to work out what we do 2 weeks out from what is going to be one of our biggest pay-per-views ever.
It's so fun getting to do episodes of TV from 2001, because mostly we just go back and look at the big pay-per-views. So yeah, I can't recommend it enough. And actually, tomorrow we're going to be predicting WrestleMania 42, the whole card, too far in advance. That will be up on the YouTube channel. But if you go over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk, we have predicting the Royal Rumble 2027 match.
Harder than you think it's going to be.
Harder than you think, because it's just essentially throwing names at the wall. But despite having 200 plus potential wrestlers to choose from, Luke and I have weirdly synced up, and being a year out, have weirdly synced up on, I would say, 40% of that Rumble.
I think it's probably more than that. I think we have got 80% of the same names in the Royal Rumble, and in some cases 40% in the exact same position, or at least within the same bracket of 10.
We've got the same winner as well. It's the darkest timeline. And also, if you go over to their patreon.com/WrestleTalk, you can get a shout out on this very show, like Big Jiggy Josh Martin.
What's Best for Business Company Network.
John's Better, beefier brother James Morrison.
Abominable Michael Abbott.
The Ring Rust Warrior Rustage.
He's a sexy man. Sexy man. Not an Andrew Gross man. Gross man.
The Balding Brummie, Brett Linforth.
Go Ace, the Ace of Spades, Adrian Santil.
They put the Mo in Movember.
The British Bulldog, Philip Boy J. Smith Jr.
Yo, Adrian! Rocky.
He can last your fur longer than you in the ring. And that is your Hall of Fame class for Friday, the 6th of February, 2026. I hope this doesn't actually sound too much like it's come across in the first part of this, but I actually haven't got a chance to talk about this yet. I bit my tongue really hard last night while I was having my dinner. And I feel like when I was doing the news this morning,
Wouldn't have noticed.
I can sometimes hear it's like a bit of a lisp sound because I can feel like where I bit my tongue.
That's what that noise is.
Grinding against my
I thought it was
teeth.
the pipes.
So if anyone says like, "Wow, Luke sounds weird," then that'd be why. Anyway,
Weirder.
yeah, you're right. What an episode of Dynamite this was.
I mean, look, I haven't had the chance to catch up with Dynamite. I did with WWE heading into the Rumble. So I'm 3 weeks I've just not seen. And I thought that would be an interesting experiment. I can now go back and watch the previous matches to see how good a job AEW does at catching new or lapsed viewers up.
And how did it do?
Very well.
Great.
I think we're on the road to Grand Slam. Just everyone's going for the top title.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, MJF is a busy boy right now.
There's a Callis family Death Riders feud. I mean, some of this was set up before I went away, but God, I feel like it's right in the thick of it. I adored this episode. And from what I've heard, it's been pretty good week to week anyway.
Really good show as of late.
Is this like as good as them or is it even better?
I would say this was a better show than the previous week. And the previous week was great as well because that's when you had the Swerve Andrade match as well, which was absolutely... The level of wrestling on AEW for the last few weeks has been top tier.
Yeah.
But one of the things I really appreciate about AEW, and I think it's because we're in a bit of a 2001 mindset because we're watching episodes of Raw from 2001 and kind of comparing it to Raw from 2026, the pacing of Dynamite is so much stronger than Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, it's not, here's some shots of walking, here's an external shot of the building, here's a sponsor
Here's
read.
a long entrance. It is a really pacey show. But when we compare that to, say, TNA Impact from episodes that we have done from sort of that 2011, 2013 period, it doesn't feel overstuffed.
Yeah.
It's paced really well. It crams a lot in. A lot of matches on this show. Way more than you'd think there would be. But it doesn't feel like nothing gets cut short. Everything's given time. There's video packages. There's promos. It's a really well laid out show.
I know it's a cliche. I have no notes. You know, throughout like the years of us doing Dynamite, like, oh, the lining could have been better here. That was a mistake. Why don't they do video packages to build up characters? Why don't they do video recaps to remind you what happened last week? Just top to bottom, the formatting of the show, like you said, the pacing, how they balanced out the star power throughout the episode, opening with the Moxley match, having the Omega match in the middle, ending on Hangman, MJF. An extraordinary, like they are in full stride for what their vision of wrestling is. This is it. This is how you do it. Doesn't have like, oh my God, you've got to go see this match, or you've got to go see this promo, or you've got to go see this angle. What it is the most solid wrestling program you can possibly have.
And we opened with a bunch of promos, very Collision-esque, to promote the upcoming matches. We had MJF cutting a promo, Brody King cutting a promo, Kenny Omega cutting a promo, Don Callis cutting one on behalf of Takeshita, Mark Davis, and Andrade, the Babes of Wrath cutting a promo, Mega Bad cutting a promo. All of them are, here are 6 matches you're going to get.
Well, what a disappointment this is, because none of them are walking. They were just standing there. Like, how's that? I'm being glib. This is so much better than 2 minutes of having people arrive and Tessitore just go, oh, I'm facing this person. Blah, 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 blah.
And then 2 minutes after you had that sort of 2-minute promo segment, you got your first match. It's the Death Riders of Pac, Moxley, and Garcia taking on the Don Callis family of El Clon, Josh Alexander, and Konosuke Takeshita to further the Konosuke Takeshita, John Moxley Continental Championship feud.
Great stuff. You might have to catch me up and fill me in parts. So this is a heel faction versus a heel faction, but the main feud is between the babyface leaders of those heel factions.
Yeah, because the Death Riders wrestle as babyfaces when they're having their sort of like big matches. And actually, there was one match they had a couple of weeks back where they interfered a bunch, but it was done as a babyface thing. It was like remarkable how well they've made this work. But yes, you've absolutely hit the nail on the head, because they are still heels. Marina Shafir is still definitely a heel, and Wheeler Yuta is definitely a heel.
Yeah.
But Jon Moxley is a babyface right now, and he's doing the big babyface comeback. He's doing the topes and all this sort of stuff, building to his final hot tag. I would say this didn't have the usual party match atmosphere of an AEW Trios match, but the final stretch I thought was great. Like, once Moxley got that hot tag, this was awesome.
Really good stuff. Takeshita pinned Garcia, which builds Takeshita versus Mox.
Yeah.
Very effective.
Very effective. Very hard to care about that championship belt.
That's a separate story.
Because they announced a match between the two of them at Grand Slam. And I'm like, all right, great.
I think Moxley versus Takeshita with a belt, that makes it more important.
No, it doesn't. I would say Moxley versus Takeshita is a match I'm interested in. Moxley versus Takeshita for the Continental Championship is a match I'm interested in for a belt I don't care about.
You want Takeshita versus Moxley in the main event SmackDown 6 mix they've got at the moment.
Or just for, if that Unified Championship might have been a slight difference. I might have had a different opinion on this. But you got Ricochet on Twitter being like, I feel like my national championship means more than those belts in WWE. And I'm like, I don't think it does. You are one of 4 mid-card titles. Renee interviews Swerve Strickland backstage with Prince Nana saying, you know what? Sure, he lost last week, but he is not leaving this world title scene anytime soon. Video for Will Ospreay.
Yeah, with Dr. Lloyd Youngblood. It's a joke, again, for something that's not come out yet. But in our Raw 2001 review, they do a Chris Benoit surgery thing. And I thought, that's weird how similar it is and how much we thought that was effective. This was really good. Yeah. It's just reminding you, keeping that plate spinning. Ospreay is a megastar. He's had severe surgery. He'll be back eventually. You know, probably not for 6 months, but you got to do these to set it up. Oh, you think he's back sooner?
Their reports are he might be back, not like within the next month or so.
It will take some time.
But it's not. I don't think it's going to be 6 months.
Okay.
I think he'll be back by Revolution.
Well, Revolution is March.
Yeah, I think we'll be back by then.
Well, very good stuff to start teeing it up regardless. Yeah.
Orange Cassidy and Toni Storm took on Jordan Oasis and Brittany Brooks in an enhancement match that had all hair-based offense because they are having a hair versus hair match at Grand Slam against Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir.
I mean, it's a comedy feud. I don't know how you could have built this better.
Toni Storm in a denim outfit was great. Yeah, just doing... Like, they couldn't do it to Jordan Oliver because he hasn't got hair. But Orange Cassidy made that a part of the story. I don't know what to do with you. You haven't got hair.
And the crowd loved chanting bald. Yeah. It's one of the only acceptable forms of discrimination.
A really fun idea, a really fun match. They cut a promo afterwards where Orange Cassidy was like, I'm not sure we should be doing this. I quite like having hair. Mm-hmm. And Toni Storm was like, yeah, I don't know why we agreed to this either. This is a really bad idea, but I'm going to make Marina Shafir look like Jon Moxley.
I hope we get a Cassidy segment in the build backstage in passing with MJF. And Cassidy goes, what did you do when you lost your hair?
Survival Series contestants Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors beat up Darby Allin. I beat them at Survival Series. Yeah. Beat up Darby.
On their own faction.
Yep, I sure did. But I could not beat them in a real fight. Darby was arriving at the building. They beat him up. Fightful Slate reports that Clark Connors is now signed with AEW. Gabe Kidd not yet, but I think that AEW very much courting him. Apparently WWE have got interest in Gabe Kidd as well, but I can't think of a place that Gabe Kidd is suited to less than going to WWE. What's Gabe Kidd going to do? Go to NXT?
And not swear every other word.
That's what I mean.
So Darby's skateboarding, they kidnap him in this beautiful 60s car. I tried to look up the model, but I couldn't find it. So please, if you're a car nerd, let us know. The light, like the sort of the light, the sunlight back, like this was in a sort of road back on the back streets, period. It seemed like a different universe, and it's like, I don't know, it's like a Steve McQueen car cop movie. Oh, like the Bullet Club.
Yeah. Because they were...
And the movie Bullet.
Mm-hmm. Right.
With Steve McQueen and that kind of car.
Yeah, yeah. Is that why you did this whole setup?
No, I just wanted to make a pun. Didn't land.
It's not one of your stronger ones.
You know, the famous Steve McQueen movie from the 60s.
Yeah. I know
you think of the streets of San Francisco and the car is... It's nearby.
They had a segment later on as well where Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors accosted someone in the production truck to play their video. And it's a video that Gabe Kidd filmed on his phone of him and Clark Connors putting Darby in a body bag and then dragging that body bag behind on the car in the desert.
The commentators describe that as unhinged. And it is so unhinged, it's working. Because, you know, like usually I'd be like, oh, but why would they discipline them because they manhandled an employee? But it's like, it's so crazy and breakneck. It's working.
Yeah. Adam Page took on Mark Davis in a horse fest.
Oh, yeah.
This was horse action right here.
Right into it as well. Two tough bastards. I thought Davis looked very good with the few power spots he had.
This is 2 weeks and 2 really good performances for Mark Davis because he was great in the FTR tag match last week, which Jake Doyle unfortunately got injured in. But yeah, 2 really good weeks for Mark Davis. And I'm hoping with Doyle out, Mark's not just going to be relegated to the sidelines.
Yeah, get a Fletcher push, ironically. Really good finish where I think Davis has Hangman on his shoulders, but they go backwards, and they flip over the top rope onto the ramp because it was that kind of setup into the ring. The ramp directly connected with the level of the canvas. And Hangman hits a tombstone on the ramp. Yeah. It's like, if there is a ramp level to the ring, Hangman will hit a horrible move on it, I've noticed.
He got the buckshot to get the win. He's heading to Australia for the number 1 contendership match. He's hoping that it's going to be against Kenny Omega. And also, MJF, I'm going to stomp the future children out of your balls.
It's new. It's a good line.
It is a good line, and it also sets up the spot at the end of the show.
Ah, very good. Yes, it does. Oh wow, Kenny versus Hangman? That seems... But also, could Andrade win? And we'll find out later, of course, but they've done a really good job of making this SmackDown 6 as anyone could win at any time because they're all feuding with each other. So it's not like, oh, I get it. Swerve's going to feud with Andrade, so Andrade loses this match for them to spin off. It's like, no, anything could, because there's just so much. Yeah. Everyone hates each other.
They're all on the same level. Yeah. And we're going to find out very shortly, actually, because we've got a video for Kevin Knight. I think it goes straight into Andrade El Idolo versus Kenny Omega. This had a countdown timer during the first match, like in the corner, being like 40 minutes until this match happens.
I mean, it's been built since October, when Andrade made that one-night appearance.
Yeah. The winner of this match will face Hangman Adam Page, and Andrade, 2 weeks in a row now, has looked incredible.
WWE did the greatest thing. Because he came in on that Dynamite in October, and it was like, oh, I guess Andrade's back. That's silly. Yeah. And WWE, through their own just nonsense, have made him feel like a huge star. Honestly, it feels like Andrade going into a feud with Omega 3 months ago feels like, okay, whatever. Now it feels like Andrade, at the height of black and gold NXT, has just stepped over into Dynamite.
It does, doesn't it? Like, this is... we had these reservations for Andrade coming back. We both was like, what's the point? Yeah. Because do you remember what happened the last time he was here? He didn't care. He didn't put any effort in. And it was a lackluster... I described it in my news yesterday. Pants. It was a pants run that he had in AEW. He went back and he was just there to just go back to WWE. I think him going to WWE and realizing, I'm actually not going to get a push here at all, is what's rejuvenated him. Yeah. WWE was seen as the greener pastures. Like, I've just got to get back there and I can get under Triple H and it'll be great. And he got there, realized it's not. And he's like, I need to bet on myself.
His marriage broke down.
So he's gone back to AEW, but he's not gone back there with like, oh, this is just another stopgap for me before I figure out what I'm going to do next. He is someone who just feels like, I'm here to be a top star, and make this company great.
And it's partly on AEW because he's with Chavo, now he's with Vicky Guerrero.
Oh yeah, totally.
And it was a mess. The actual booking of Andrade at the start, but now it's like he's with Don Callis.
Mm-hmm.
Simple.
Yeah, and it's really, really working. He's got this gimmick as well. He's this Lothario. Women are going to shows just so they can see how sexy he is in real life. Like, he's a handsome dude. It's why Triple H refused to put him under a mask as La Sombra in NXT. But they have plants at ringside now that get excited when Andrade shows up and then want to have selfies taken with him during his matches. And Andrade plays this up. He'll do a move to Kenny Omega and then be like, I'm just going to go pose for a selfie with my girls.
When that happened, when he rolled out to the ring and posed, I was like, oh, okay, so this is how Kenny wins, because Andrade is, lacking focus. Mm-hmm. Andrade can have the feud with Swerve because, that was sort of set up. Yeah. And I was going down like arguably the boring, predictable route.
He also, although his marriage has broken down, still doing the figure 4 leg lock, which is a bit of a loaded move for him at this point. But can he reverse that pressure? It's such a good match. And the finish saw Don throw the screwdriver to Andrade for him to use and distracted Aubrey Edwards. Swerve Strickland ran down to stop Andrade doing this. That inadvertently distracts Aubrey Edwards. So Andrade low blows Kenny Omega, hits the DM to get the win. And then afterwards, Kenny and Swerve get into a shoving match. Security and referees have to separate them. That's probably going to be a match at Grand Slam.
So you elongate Omega and Page in a really logical way. You've got Kenny versus Kenny versus Swerve.
Yep.
Yes, please. You get Andrade to have the match against MJF at Grand Slam.
Oh, no, he's getting a match against Hangman.
Sorry,
Page.
Hangman, of course, yes. I just the pursuit of the world title being the foundation of all main event feuds is how you should book a world title.
There was a great bit at the end of last week's Dynamite where MJF is he's watching the main event of Andrade versus Swerve Strickland, and the match finishes, and Kenny Omega walks up to him, and he's like, "Hey, champ, just want to let you know, I just want to shake your hand because I'm coming for your world title." And MJF refused to shake hands with him and walks away, and the camera follows him, and he bumps into Andrade walking out from finishing his match. He's looking at that title. So he's pissed off. So he walks out of the parking lot. The camera follows him. And just before he gets into the car, Hangman Page shuts the door and looks at the title. And MJF's like, oh no, I am being surrounded. The sharks are circling.
Yeah. This happened last time with Max when he had the belt. He had 4 or 5 different legit main star, a top star challengers. And it's why when he won the belt at World's End, surely it was not very well built and whatever. But a lot of people back onto MJF. But me and you were no, he makes everything more interesting.
Yeah.
And look, this is the direct result of it.
We have seen a lot of reports about Max over the years. And I think this is why him being a world champion is so good, because it feels like it's very much a Max direction. Give me loads of challenges. I want to set up this person, this person, this person. What happens in this main event segment here feels like such an MJF idea.
It feels straight out the Wardlow template.
It's straight out of the MJF playbook of I want to make this guy feel like a top star. Here's how we're going to do it.
While keeping me protected.
Yeah. So we've got a video for Brody King, and then Chris Statlander cut a promo. She's having a rematch with Tekla, and she gets to pick the stipulation, but she's going to wait to give that announcement that she's going to do that on Collision this coming Saturday. Now that the Nielsen ratings are fixed, they're putting some more effort into Collision again.
Got to get that 50 to 55 number. It's the main one.
We're not talking about thousands either. We're talking about... Megabad took on the Babes of Wrath in a title eliminator match. Babes of Wrath, Megabad got the win here. We'll face them for the titles at Grand Slam.
Yeah, good stuff. They pinned Harley clean with the Doomsday device.
Yeah.
So makes the challengers strong. What you should be doing sort of happens later on as well. Looking at this, and apologies if it's already been said in my absence, it's very smart to make the Babes of Wrath a thing.
Yeah.
Because Harley Cameron is great. She has charisma, and she is good to an extent in the ring, but she's still very green. Mm-hmm. And putting her in this position gives her the spotlight, gives her the high profile, gives her a title, but she's protected from exposing her limitations at the moment.
Yeah.
Which means she can use this to get better and better and better. So just as a piece of talent development, I think this is very smart.
And actually, I'm surprised she wasn't the one that was being worked over to build to the Willow hot tag. Willow was being worked over to build to the Hardy hot tag, which gives her and Hardy that experience to go in there and do the hot tag run.
Yeah, and she's really, every week I think she's better.
And then we got a video recap of Tommaso Ciampa winning the TNT Championship on last Saturday's Collision in a awesome match with Mark Briscoe. And he cuts a promo afterwards holding what he's now calling Sylvie, which is a lovely little goldy thing. And he goes, and to honour what Mark did with his title, I'm also going to issue an open challenge for Collision. And they announced it's going to be him versus Roderick Strong versus Claudio Castagnoli on Collision.
So he's kind of a tweener then.
I think he's a babyface. He's a babyface, yeah.
Yeah, honour to Briscoe, fighting champion.
He's just a psycho killer.
Yeah.
Jack Perry then took on Ricochet for the National Championship. I described this in my edited review as classic AEW. This is what this felt like. What you expected when AEW launched. Two upper mid-card guys going out there and having a banger with incredible, innovative, creative spots that you don't see anywhere else in professional wrestling. And both of them looking good when it comes out of it and trying to elevate a title. I thought this was... I don't care about the national championship, unfortunately, but I thought this was an awesome match.
The national championship graphic fired, and I went, oh, yeah. Forgot it was a thing.
Oh, yeah, Bobby's belt, and then he got hurt.
But this was, straight into the action, back and forth, non-stop, and GOA start to come down and interfere, but the Bucks take out GOA, but Ricochet still retains.
Yes. So they then announced that it's going to be Bucks versus GOA on Collision. The winner of that will go into a triple threat tag match next week with the Rascals and a wild card tag team, and they will be the number one contenders. The winner of that will become the number one contenders to the tag titles.
Right.
A 5 Split report came out on Wednesday that said that AEW are looking to bolster up their roster, looking for new acquisitions for the women's division, particularly to the singles and tags. But the fact they've got a wild card mystery team makes me think it might be another new signing.
Oh, who do you think?
I don't know. It's just like it's just to say
Jericho.
It's Jericho and the new young person he's going to get
Guevara.
over.
It's just Sammy
oh my
Guevara
god! If it's Sammy, it'd be hilarious.
It's the sex gods.
Oh my, that'd be so funny. That is the fun.
I actually think it's worth doing. If he's still under contract, Tony.
He's not there because he's touring with Fozzy in the UK. I think now he's starting his UK tour. But anyway, I thought it was a really good match. I just wonder if it's going to be a new signing next week. Then we got the Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors thing. And then our main event. Do you know what? Now that you know the finish, all of the hype they do for this is such clever foreshadowing. They do this every week on Dynamite. It's the main event. We're going to stay with it as long as it takes, folks. But they were hamming it up so much. And hamming up because, like Justin Roberts, it's your main event. And doing the big ring intros for everyone, the big entrances.
Yeah, MJF gets the big curtain drop thing.
It's now you know how the match ends. How much they hammed this up is even funnier. Because the bell rings. Hangman Page walks out, and MJF gets on the ring apron and is like, what are you doing out here? Brody King grabs him in the sleeper and does the Hangman sleeper spots. MJF is out.
But instantly. It's not even like 2 seconds. It's half a second.
And his corpse falls to the floor. Brody King grabs it, throws it back in the ring, hits a cannonball, and just launches him up and hits the Gonzo bomb and pins him. 1 minute and 17 seconds.
I'm surprised it was that long. And then Hangman, Andrade appeared.
Hangman pissed himself laughing.
Yeah, it was just sort of an Andrade, Brody, Max, Hangman. Everyone hits moves, and then Brody stood tall with the belt. When this started, Brody's entrance is at the 2-hour mark. And I can see on my thing, there's 7 minutes left. And the commentators are telling me, we're staying with this as long as it takes. I'm like, well, it's not going to take very long. So it's either an angle. And then I went, Max could lose in a shock, quick defeat to build to the Grand Slam match.
Yeah.
And I thought that's a really fun idea, but probably won't happen. The execution of it, the idea, makes Brody feel like a huge star that will elevate him somewhat, significantly. But Max doesn't lose anything.
Yeah. So this was built up so well because you can now look back at the promos they did to build this match up. Brody King wins an enhancement match on Dynamite. Then the following week comes out, it's like, I want a shot at the world title. And MJF was like, oh, what? So you squashed some enhancement talent? Why don't you beat some actual real legit, like some elite level guys? And then the week after that is Brody King and I was like, you want to beat elite level guys? Why don't I beat you?
Max takes the pins when it's necessary.
Yeah.
I'm such a fan. This is no notes.
And again, like you said earlier, oddly, even though he was pinned in 1 minute and 17 seconds, it's not hurt Max. He doesn't look weak coming out of this. He doesn't feel like a paper champion or anything like that. He still feels like the world champion. It's just it only elevates the character of Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
You teed it up earlier, but Hangman went to hit a buckshot on Max, and Max kicked him in the dick right away.
The timing of
really
that,
good,
that was incredible, because that was like clean how much he kicked him in the dick there. I thought this was an awesome episode of Dynamite.
I loved it.
So much love for it.
Can we get on with the main event?
Do you want to play your game now?
Okay. So how much have you been listening to the Wrestling Observer?
I have not listened to this week's Wrestling Observer.
Oh, last week's Wrestling Observer.
Did I listen to last week's one? Which was last week's?
Well, maybe you might have seen it on Twitter. Meltzer, in his wonderful way, said when discussing, I can't remember what he was even discussing. I should have pulled the larger quote. And then he's maybe Billy Gunn was criticizing someone. And then Meltzer just said, Billy Gunn's not even in the top 1,000 wrestlers ever.
So I haven't seen this or any of the discourse around it, but I think it's because Billy Gunn was talking about how kids don't know how to get over anymore.
Yeah. And he's like Meltzer's
point, which, by the way, is a thick thing to say.
Meltzer's point was people need to learn to stop listening to unsuccessful mid-carders from the Attitude Era. Because Billy Gunn was given chance after chance after chance, and while he was very athletic and good-ish in the ring, he didn't have the charisma to actually get over to a proper upper mid main event level.
Which is very true. And you can go back and look at the year 1999. WWF pushed the hell out of Billy Gunn.
And, he was in New Age Outlaws. He was in DX. Like, he has this outsized, like, oh yeah, Billy Gunn. He's one of the, I think of him when I think of the Attitude Era. But actually, that's a short period of time. There's more failure in there than not.
Yeah.
And he has the sort of, gall to give these kids these days advice.
They don't know how to get over.
So, of course, that didn't go down well with Twitter. I think Meltzer then said, well, look, he wasn't even in the top 200 wrestlers of his time. Mm. So then, because think of all the Japanese wrestlers and other around the world. And Meltzer was like, look, honestly, if you just look at the in-ring work, Gunn is not in the top 200 wrestlers.
He's also,
any serious historian will tell you that.
He's not wrong. You can argue that he was in the top 200 most over wrestlers.
Yeah.
Because he's part of the New Age Outlaws.
Exactly, yeah.
Like he was like the top merch sellers, like among the top merch sellers of WWE.
So there's so many different criteria here of where Billy Gunn ranks. So I want to establish between us before we continue. I think we should just go on gut feeling. Like, it could be a bit of in-ring. It could be just charisma. It could have been the push they got. Some amazing stories. We will say, I've got a random wrestler name generator, and we will say whether they're better or worse than Billy Gunn. And over the months, we can see where he ends up once we've done 500.
You want to do 5? Okay, we don't do one per week. We're going to do a few per week.
Let's just bust out 10 right now. Let's
see how. Yeah, great.
Okay, just word association.
I then you say, because if you're going to do 500, we're going to be here for a while.
Yeah. So, I just want to give the guy. I just want to make it fair. So first up, we have Kane.
Is Kane Kane's a better wrestler than Billy Gunn?
And just a better overall character.
Yeah,
well. Remember, it's not just wrestler. For our one, Meltzer was just in ring.
Yeah, he is better than Billy Gunn.
Okay, easy. Kofi Kingston.
Better than Billy Gunn.
I mean, he's a WWE World Champion, isn't he? Kofi Kingston, better than Billy Gunn. These are random, by the way. Oh, also, Meltzer's one, I think, was just purely for that 97 to 2001 era. Yeah. We're doing it of all time. Zack Ryder. That is...
Oh, that's a good one.
That is meaty.
That's meaty because he got hugely over with the True Long Island Story. But
Billy at his height of over was more over than that.
But Matt Cardona, Indie God, I think he's better than Billy Gunn.
I think he's not. I think it's close.
It's close.
I would put him a smidgen under.
Okay.
But
I'll defer
let's
to you
do
because
that.
I've called the last two.
Look, and if people like really feel passionately against that, we can amend that next week. So let us know in the comments.
We do it with Cutscene's worst movie ever. Like we put our rankings in, then people complain about it in the comments, and then we adjust.
Batista. Oh, he's better.
Yeah.
I should actually probably. So Kane's also better than Kofi Kingston, isn't he?
I think Kofi's better than Kane.
Oh, but Kane's more like it's enduring. Like if I was to.
I mean, yeah, Kofi didn't.
Slacks Kane.
I was going to say Kofi didn't have his trousers era. Corporate Kofi. That's what we need.
We're going to put Batista above Kane. Is this becoming too difficult? Now? Okay, we'll just put you're either above Billy Gunn or you're below Billy Gunn. Sheamus. He's better than Billy Gunn.
He's better than Billy Gunn.
I'm not looking good for Billy Gunn so far. The only person he's better than was a margin case.
It was a margin call.
Zack Ryder again. Big Boss Man.
Oh no, Big Boss Man was way better.
Than Billy Gunn.
Better than Billy Gunn.
Nature Boy Ric Flair.
That's a very unfair one for Billy Gunn. But yeah, I think Ric Flair. Oh, I don't know though. Do you want to let us know in the comments what you might think on that one?
I just think, a knee-jerk reaction to Billy Gunn is not in the top 1,000 wrestlers of all time. It's like, what? That's obscene. But actually,
I mean, we've just gone through 8.
When you start CM Punk,
yeah.
I'll find a different random generator.
What, like
this is loaded. John Cena.
Actually, I don't know about that one.
Oh, come on. Just overall star appeal. The Rock. Oh, my God. Okay, well, maybe we've got to get the easy ones out of the way. Rusev. I think Rusev is beneath Billy Gunn.
No, I think Rusev's better than Billy Gunn. Rusev's had better matches than Billy Gunn.
But it's not just about the better matches. It's about, like, the lasting cultural impact.
Rusev Day?
New Age Outlaws.
Yeah, but I think you can't...
The dumpsters. When they pushed it off the stage.
Yeah, it's true. I think I could probably make an argument that Billy Gunn has had a bigger impact on professional wrestling than Rusev has had.
Again, it seems like it's a marginal case. Where me and you disagree, it's marginal. So
yeah.
we're open to feedback. Diego.
Isn't he one of... Was he one of the what were they called? The Shining Stars, or whatever it was.
Oh, the Puerto Rican guys.
Yeah, was he one of them? Let's have a look. Okay. I'm just gonna Google Diego.
I could probably.
Oh, thank you.
Do that quicker. Yeah, it's Primo Colón.
Oh, look at me. Look at that for Survival Series knowledge.
I'd put him beneath.
Yeah, I'd put him beneath.
I really did like Primo though. We'll just do, how many have we done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's get to 15.
Yep.
So The Miz.
I'd put him below Billy
Would you put him below?
I'd put him below Billy Gunn. I know that The Miz main events is one of the worst WrestleManias of all time and one of the worst main events of all time. And that's all he's known for. And one promo on Talking Smack.
Okay.
He is not as over as Billy Gunn was.
For the meme, I'll put him beneath Billy Gunn. But again, I think that is marginal. Dolph Ziggler. I mean, does the Fameasser.
He does, yeah. A very good comparison piece. They've both got that sort of like blonde ramen style hair.
I mean, for me, he's better. Dolph Ziggler's better than Billy Gunn.
I think he's, yeah. And by the way, as well, if people want to say that I'm wrong about The Miz, you're more than welcome to argue the case for it. I think that is a marginal call.
One more. Last one. The Great Khali.
All right, okay, look. Billy Gunn is better than the Great Khali.
Yeah, but the impact.
No, get out with the impact.
Does Billy Gunn have his own match stipulation? Yeah, right. The Great Khali is not as good. Yeah. So currently, we have 10 wrestlers better than Billy Gunn, and 5 wrestlers not as good as Billy Gunn.
I really hope Billy Gunn does not find this.
I know. Make me feel bad.
I hope he does not find this.
But
I don't know. Does he have a podcast?
Probably. He is a wrestler from the Attitude Era. If he doesn't have a podcast, someone is on the phone to him right now.
Conrad's calling him every week. Chat me up. Do you want to do a podcast together?
So yeah, that's it. If we call it the what can that game?
Are you better or worse than Billy Gunn?
Are you better or worse? We're gonna jingle. Are you better or worse than Billy Gunn? Bang bang. I don't know. Also, okay, but now we're open to jingles. If you want to compose a jingle,
that's a great call. Yeah, it's gonna be a short one. Yeah, I don't want 10 seconds. I want it like 5-second jingle.
We could do between 5 and 15 seconds, let's say.
Fair.
Because I think by the time you've said the title, it's already about 7.
Yeah, it's fair.
But yeah, hopefully that gets over. If it doesn't,
well, won't do it.
Never speak of it again.
or if Billy Gunn gets really upset about it, and I get an email from him from billy.gunn@billygunn.com.
We've had a few wrestlers contact us. Yeah, they're generic domains.
Yeah, so on Beard Meets Foods podcast, he got an invite to go on to a very popular podcast, but he didn't believe it was real. It was like an Amy Poehler, it was Rob Lowe's podcast.
Oh, right.
But he didn't believe it was a legit invite because he was like, A, why would you want to interview me? But B, it was from a Gmail account. He's like, they'll have a proper email. And his co-host was like, you'd be surprised how many big companies still have generic Gmail accounts.
Right, so any recommendations before we get out of here?
It actually is Beard Meets Food.
Oh.
I've been on a bit of a YouTube kick as of late. I watched a really good video. I'm going to find the channel who did it actually, just before I do. 1 second. Because they did a really good video about the history of the Nitro Grill in Las Vegas.
Oh, cool.
And they are also one of those channels as well as Expedition Theme Park, the failed Las Vegas wrestling-themed hotel, and the Nitro Grill. Because they're one of those YouTube channels that could put up WWF footage and WCW footage and not get taken down. So if you want to see some old Attitude Era archive, great place to go. So I'd recommend that. But Beard Meets Food did a great challenge video on last Sunday. This is one of the best ones he's done in a while. It is 3.5 kilograms of carbonara in...
That's your lunch this week. I've seen it. I've seen it in that enormous tub you bring in.
Of rice and tofu.
Are you in training?
No. It's just I'm just trying to eat so that I don't have to spend any money. Yeah. But it's a really good video. It's really well produced. It's a lot of fun. It's in Italy, it's got really good crowd reactions. And it genuinely does get very tense towards the end as to whether or not he's going to do it. There are often times with Beard Meets Food, it's like, he's going to smash that one. And he often does. This one is like, this is dicey. This is getting out to the wire. It's so good.
My recommendation would be a book I read. I got a lovely Christmas present. I can't remember if I said it, from my partner. There's a beautiful bookshop in Marylebone in London called Daunt Books. It's like one of the first bookshops in the world, I think, like a travel bookshop. But they do this thing where just for a nominal amount a month, they will send you a book based on your tastes.
Huh.
So to surprise me for Christmas, my partner, she took a photo of my bookcase and was like, this is what he's into. And the first frickin' book they sent, something I've never heard of, it came out 2 years ago. It was Icelandic. It won an Icelandic award. It's been translated into English. It's called The Mark. And it's just this idea, kind of Minority Report-esque, where society has a test that can tell whether you're a psychopath.
Huh.
And it's like, oh, yep, canonically you're a psychopath. And then it just became like, that's already happened. And now the book is about the vote in government to make it compulsory for everyone to take.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's just all the ramifications of some companies start to go in the anti, no, we want psychopaths for business. We're pro psychopaths, and you get schools which, oh no, we can't have psychopath children at this school.
Yeah.
It's really well written. It's funny very funny in points, and it's ultimately a much better job at what I was trying to do with my book. Yeah, there's a bit of a punch to the balls, but gotta be humble. Yeah, so it's called The Mark. I can't pronounce her name, who wrote it. But yeah, search it. It's great.
That is cool. And it's actually a very cool service as well.
Yeah. So every 2 months for the next year, I'll get a book. So the next one's due shortly.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. I will take that recommendation.
Yeah, so I guess Daunt Books I'm recommending as well. If you're ever in London, check it out. They're a really cool bookshop. But for now, patreon.com/WrestleTalk. sack off the books, watch some videos. And you can do that over there because we have just hundreds of hours. And tomorrow, for about 45 minutes, we try and book the Royal Rumble 2027.
It's a bit of a laugh. Those of you who really enjoyed how advanced our technology was when we did our Royal Rumble 2026 predictor, you will be blown away. Okay. Shall we run that back?
Should we just do it exactly the same again? But for now, I've been Ollie Davis. This has been Luca and DAD. Jam that jam.
Jam that jam.